Thanks very much.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let you get out first.
All right, let's go back to number 6.
Let's
Town
do that.
Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to start by congratulating Sandy Emon on her retirement from the Tyngsborough Public Library. Sandy most recently served as our senior library technician, but has been employed by the Tyngsborough Public Library for over 26 years. She also served as the interim director when former director Sue Arthur retired and kept the library moving during a very challenging time. She's always been a passionate and friendly public servant, and her presence in the library will be greatly missed. A shout out to our Department of Public Works. In a little more than a week leading up to the meeting tonight, they've handled 4 decent-sized storms, most of which, of course, took place in the overnight hours. On top of that, we are piloting on 2 plow routes new plow blades, which seem like minor things, but I got a chance to see them in action. I believe Tyngsborough MA tweeted them, but we'll post a photo with the town manager's report. They cut closer to the road, so they get rid of much more. They're also segregated into segments, so when one hits an obstacle in the road, that one pops up but doesn't send the whole plow up, which preserves the life of the truck. So they weren't super expensive. We have them on 2 for this season, and we'll slowly start adding them on to the rest of the trucks. They've turned out to be a huge success. The Council on Aging, the governing body, is launching an evening event series beginning on Wednesday, March 26th at 6:30 p.m. at the Center for Active Living with a bingo night. The event is free and open to any of our residents over 60. As this board is well aware, the Council on Aging has been working hard in the last couple of years to amend their operations to meet the changing needs of our community. And one area that they've identified as a priority is expanding programming to evening hours. Many people who are eligible for services at the center are still working. So this gives them an opportunity to engage and participate. I'm happy to report that once again, the town of Tyngsborough was invited into the Commonwealth Cybersecurity Training Program. This program is essentially a grant. It doesn't cost the town anything. It's our 3rd year in a row participating, and the results have been obvious to us. I was joking that our IT department has been inundated with people sending screenshots of emails saying, "Does this look suspicious to you?" And I've certainly been guilty of doing that as well. So people are thinking now. Cybersecurity certainly is one of the largest threats facing municipalities. You hear in the news all the time about municipalities that fall victim to phishing attempts and ransomware attacks. So I'm appreciative for the work that our IT director, Tom LaFlame, has done on this. On top of it being the right thing to do, it's also helpful for us maintaining our cybersecurity insurance policy, which gets harder and harder to keep every year. But thanks to the investments that the budget has made in our programming, we have been able to do so. The Tyngsborough Recreation Department will host the annual Shamrock Ball on Saturday, March 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the elementary school. Registration is now open through Recreation's online registration portal, and you can learn more by visiting tyngsboroughma.gov. The Tyngsborough Public Library will host a Valentine's Day bingo on Wednesday, February 12th at 4:30 p.m. in the library. The event is geared toward children between the ages of 5 and 11. Registration is required, and if you go to the library website at tinglib.org, you can register. Last week, we announced the fiscal year 2026 budget office hours. As a reminder, this program started last year as a way to provide smaller and more intimate settings for residents to meet with myself and other town staff to learn more about the budget and be better prepared to vote on the budget at town meeting. The dates this year are April 7th at 1 p.m. at the Center for Active Living, April 16th at 5 p.m. via Zoom, and April 23rd at 6:30 p.m. here at Town Hall. Residents are encouraged to attend or visit the town manager's page on tyngsboroughma.gov to learn more about the budget. Just like we did last year, if you're unable to make one of those 3 meetings, you can certainly watch any of my budget presentations, review the documents online, come to pre-town meeting, or schedule a one-on-one meeting. Happy to meet with anybody. Finance Director David Andrews, Assistant Town Manager Kat Foster, and I will participate in a 2-day workshop later this month with the Division of Local Services through the Department of Revenue, focused on forecasting for municipal budgets. As this board is aware, our goal has been to use this year's final budget to present a 5-year budget forecast for planning purposes. This is the first session of its type that DLS is hosting, so we're hopeful that it'll be beneficial for what we're looking to do here in Tyngsborough. Our office will release an invitation to bid next week for the demolition of the former senior center located at 180 Lakeview Ave. As the board will remember, that building, which has been vacant for nearly 10 years, suffered substantial water damage back in 2023 after a pipe burst. At the fall 2023 town meeting, voters authorized $60,000 to demolish the building, and the select board had previously authorized $20,000 from ARPA to abate the asbestos-containing tiles. Once demolished, we'll pave over that site, that the building was on, and we'll use it for more parking for the softball field located at the site. Responses for that are due on March 19th. I regret to share that Republic Services has once again mailed an incorrect flyer to residents. You may remember that we had them send a new flyer because the first one they sent was wrong. It appears that this time, fortunately, they used the correct street listing. So if you weren't sure what side of the street, the bridge your street is on, you can look at this current one. However, when we asked them to change the colors on the calendar to match the map that they included, they changed it the wrong way. So if you look at it, it's giving you the wrong week. So throw it away. Don't even look at it. Toss it in the trash. Our health department. Recycle it. I don't know if this is worth recycling. Just kidding. Our health department is going to mail. We've created our own calendar, which has been available on the town's website. It clearly delineates the streets. It clearly delineates the schedule. And it also has information about the different programs the Sustainability Committee talked about. We're going to mail that out. We'll send an invoice to Republic Services to cover the cost of it. We did a reverse 911 today to tell people to just discard them. I think I said throw them away, so I apologize. It should be recycled. The schedule isn't changing. We just got to a point where people were familiar with it. So if you live on the east side of the bridge, you had recycling this week, and you'll have it again in 2 weeks. And if you live on the west side of the bridge, then you'll have it on Tuesday of next week because there's a holiday. I'm really making this complicated. Just visit the town's website. You can look at your street. You can see when it is. But whatever you get in the mail from Republic, toss it in the trash. Recycling. And then finally, the Environmental Protection Agency notified us this morning that they're beginning their 5-year comprehensive review of various Superfund sites, including the one we have here in Tyngsborough, the Charles George landfill. This process is required by law and essentially is just meant to look to ensure that the remediation efforts that were previously undertaken are still working, and if there are additional remediation that needs to happen, this report will identify it. The EPA is announcing it tomorrow, I believe, and so if people follow the EPA, they'll know about it. The report, once finished, will be made publicly available. And that's all that we've got this evening.
Thank you. As always, comprehensive. I'll open it up for questions, comments from the board. Mr. Moran.
I do have a question about the Superfund site, just so we're clear on who pays for any of the remediation. That is the Environmental Protection Agency through the federal government, or is it local towns?
The landowner.
The landowner. And
Yep.
who is the landowner?
Great question. It's a combination. Well, there's two pieces to this. The Charles George Landfill Trust would have had to put some sort of money into a perpetual remediation account. There is now a new, not new because it's been like this forever. It's not exactly Charles George Landfill that owns the site anymore. It's a joint venture, and it's managed currently by Black Falcon Solar, which is the big solar farm. But it does not cost any municipal dollars to conduct the report. The report is paid for by EPA, but any remediation efforts would be covered by the landowner, not the town of Tyngsborough.
Okay, yeah. Again, that's for the understanding for the audience who may be watching.
That's a good point.
Unfortunately, I know an awful lot about that because that's what my company does. And so, yeah, it's those joint ventures, that's what they all do for the Superfund site. Mr. Schneider.
I don't have a question per se, but I certainly appreciate the sessions that you're going to put on to go over the budget. You know, the more transparent we can be about the budget process and the details of what's in the budget can only benefit the folks in the town. I encourage people to come out and avail themselves of one of the dates and times that Colin has shown. So thank you.
Mr. Colin.
No other comments.
To piggyback on that, I like that we're, again, expanding. There's 3 different days. For all the people who worry about, okay, where does money come from and how did this happen, I realize that town meeting can be a difficult place to ask questions because there's people there, they want to get out of there. Between pre-town meeting and your budget sessions, that's where people should really understand where their money is being spent. And Colin does a lot of work, along with Kat and Jackie, to pull those things together. People really should attend. If you can't attend, I appreciate that you put some different times in there, so I know that some people have very busy schedules, but this is where your tax money's going. So you should know where it is, and Colin is very open about all of that information, so please avail yourself to that. If you can't make it, send them an email with a question on it, but review, the information is there. You just have to be willing to, do something to dig into it just a little bit on that. So, again, as always, thank you for the report, the comprehensive report, and I look forward to, the one in 2 more weeks.
As you should.
Excellent.